Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is. Kurtmeister Klotz, back in the garage, working on my GT40 kit car. It's a race car replicas kit car. Today's video, I'm going to be installing the engine oil cooler. Goes in the back. I have the rear clam in place so I can check for clearance. It's a tight clearance between the exhaust and the bodywork, the oil lines, and all that. So I had to fab up some brackets to mount it, and had to make some oil lines, -10 stainless steel, all Aeroquip fittings and lines. The LS7 engine is made for an engine oil cooler, and I think it'll be necessary since the radiator's up there and the engine's back there, and I think all the cooling I can get is big. So today we'll actually install that oil cooler, and I also have cut up and fit my exhaust system, my O2 bungs and all that kind of stuff. I haven't tacked it yet, but I'll show you what I got. Get things started here by opening up the rear clam. I don't know how well you can see. I'll bring the camera in close, but well, here's a good look at where we're going to be working. That oil cooler is going to sit right in here where the light is, and it's going to exit the hot air through there. So I do have one bracket installed already. The other one's drilled. You can kind of see it there. And the oil lines are there. And it picks up the oil right there from the oil pan. And that's all done. That's kind of a tight clearance area there. And you can see how my stainless steel exhaust system is coming. It's not the permanent exhaust system. I want to build the bundle of snakes where it's a 180-degree exhaust system, unique to the GT40, where the cylinder banks, the left and the right bank, the exhaust actually crosses over into the opposite side to make more even pulses and actually scavenges the exhaust from the cylinder heads better. But this is a temporary system, but still want it to look good and function good. So some vibrant mufflers, 3-inch pipe, stainless steel, and I'm gonna try my hand at tacking it with the TIG torch, and I'll get it over to my buddy to actually weld that up. Joints are pretty tight, so should be good. Quick walk around. I did do a little cutting. This is just a vent area. There's a nice piece of aluminum that goes over that. And then this is where the 8-stack, the Webers stuck out in the original car. Of course, I don't have that. I might do that at some point, but that's not really the best thing for performance. Anyway, that's just a look at the rear clam opened up. Still, this is a Setrab. I think I said that right. It has a heat rejection of between 37,000 and 44,000 BTU. So I'll show you how this bracket is going to come into play. Basically made some longer legs for mounting. It's going to sit in there at an angle. And this is the bracket that actually going to sit here like that. It'll tilt on that. This is just 2-inch aluminum angle, 1/8 inch. This is 1/8 inch 6061. Large area washers. I thought this was kind of flimsy. So large area washers, locking hardware. And you can see this was version 1. Wasn't long enough. And I do stuff out of cardboard first to check it out. But let's get to putting that baby in there. Oh, before I get too far, I should put in these, Setrap gives you the fittings, -10. -10 fittings to AN. Pretty nice. They really nicely smoothened for nice flow there. I don't know. That'll focus on that. But anyway, O-ring seals. And I'm going to put some petrolatum on there and screw those babies in there. I'm going to do one fitting on the end of the hose. -10, 10/16 Aeroquip braided steel hose. Aeroquip 90-degree fitting. It's a swivel fitting. I used my chop saw, cut it off flush. I wrapped it with electrical tape. So a minimum of barbs, sharp edges. Put it in the vise. I already cleaned the hose, so the hose is clean. I'm going to clean it again. I'll clean all the hoses up again. So I got some rubber jaws here, or plastic jaws, to grab hold of the hose. And I like to do it on the horizontal axis. So take my connection apart. There's a couple of bevels or grooves in there that are going to capture the hose. I got some petrolatum here already set up. Put that on here so it slides in good, hopefully. Put a little on here. I was talking to a buddy of mine on the phone, and he agreed that the larger the hose, the harder it is to put it together. Use a little silicone, or a little WD-40. Get everything wet. And I'll do the same here. So it's all lubed up. First thing, we got to get the collar on here, threaded on one side. So I'm trying to capture as many of the barbs as I can. Okay, so I got that part started. I need to see the hose in the end there. So I'm working the hose, the fitting on the end of the hose. And I think that's it. That's it. Okay, I'm making a video. So I can see the end of the hose, right where it's supposed to be. So that part is done. Now I need to push this into the rubber and then thread the threads into the collar here. So it's takes a lot of force just to get it there. And I like to turn it by hand. At least the first few threads. So I know I'm not cross-threaded. While I'm doing this, I'm pushing, and I have to make sure that I don't push the fitting off the end of the hose. So I have to watch the hose that's clamped in the vise and watch this fitting so it doesn't move. And then I'm also pushing the fitting into the threads, and I'm watching it go in. You can tell it's a lot of work. It's not going on easy. Okay, it is going on. So I have a nice smooth jaw wrench, and I'll push and turn at the same time. I hope you can see this. There's lots of other people putting fittings on YouTube. It's a fine thread, so it takes a while to get going here. I'm keeping pretty good force with my left hand. It'll get to be a point where it'll want to turn the hose. Okay, it started to turn the hose. So I got a good start on it. It's going in. I'm threading it in, but there's so much force that it's twisting in my my rubber jaws. So I'll just use some sheet metal, just everyday plain sheet metal, to grab that fitting. You can see that, so the vise doesn't mar it up. So So I like to keep the aluminum fitting, the nut, so to speak, down below the top of the vise so my wrench doesn't hit it and mar up the nice red iodine. So it's in the vise now, it's protected. I got my wrench, threads are engaged. I just have to spin it down. This is a pretty big wrench, and surprisingly it does take pretty much force. You can see that it's a lot of torque already. So I'm going to line up the flats. So there it is. You can see I didn't go all the way down, but keep in mind that nipple goes way in there, and it was tight. It's a lot of torque. So it's not going to leak. I lined up the flats. Looks good. And so I got to clean it up. All right, I'll do my best to get you guys here in the action. This thing is going to go right about here. Something like that. First thing I got to do is mount this little goodie in there. It's all drilled up. It's should be plenty strong. I already got the other one mounted. You'll probably be seeing me do this in hyper speed. Brackets are secured. Now to get the oil cooler itself in. Got my hardware. This is probably the 64th time. If I need to, I'll put a fan on this thing. We'll see what the oil temperatures look like at the track. There's one side. Okay, it's tight. I'm going to have it at about that angle. Got to connect up the oil lines. This is the outlet. This is the cool oil. And this is the hot oil, the inlet to the oil cooler. So this is just a representation. I have to buy a clevis or a rod end with a Heim joint on it or something, but it's going to go from the transaxle here to this mount here, so it will be supported on the top. I haven't purchased that yet. Open it up. Okay, I'll close it down and show you what it looks like from the back end. The rear clam is about 85 pounds. It's just kind of awkward. Okay, we'll take a look from the aft side. I got the light in to the top. So there's the heat exchanger. Oop, that's a lot of light. And here's the oil lines. And there is plenty of room between the exhaust. Couple fingers there. And room down below. And you can see pretty good how it's mounted. And there's plenty of room on the top. That's that upper mount that I haven't got a rod on yet. But good enough for the video. There's the back end of the exhaust. And I've got a bungee and tape and stuff holding it in place. My next project after the video will be tacking the exhaust up. But happy with that heat exchanger. Hopefully the air flows through, goes by that heat exchanger and cools things off. That's all I got for you today, guys. Hope you liked the video. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Leave me a comment, a question, any ideas. It's always great to hear from you guys. And as always, Curbmeister Klotz saying, keep the shiny side up and your nuts tight.